Hello! Today we're going to learn how to use the future. If you have difficulty using this tense, listen to what I'm going to say. In fact, you have 4 possibilities, and none of them is difficult. Do you know why? I've noticed that each of them is used in the same way in English as in French. That's right, it's very easy. L'utilisation du futur en anglais ressemble de près à l'utilisation du futur en français. Look. When you use the futur simple in French, when you say something like je viendrai ou je ferai, I advise you use the simple future in English. I will come or I will do. Don't forget that can, must and may cannot be associated with will, each of these 4 words being a modal, un auxiliaire de modalité que tu ne peux associer à will. So how do you translate je pourrais ou je devrais? Well, you know that can, must and may have equivalents, don't you? Of course you do. I don't know why I'm asking. So, je pourrais is translated by I will be able to, can, or I will be allowed to, may, and je devrais by I will have to. Let's see now a second possibility. When I listen to my French friends speaking, I often hear sentences like je vais acheter du pain or je vais laver la voiture. Here again, it's very like our I'm going to. Indeed, here we would say I'm going to buy some bread or I'm going to wash the car. But it's not always as simple as it seems. Mais attention, ce n'est pas toujours aussi simple. When you want to translate sentences beginning with je vais, followed by a verb in the infinitive, there are 2 possibilities. You can use either I'm going to or I will. Si ce que tu vas faire a été décidé avant que tu l'annonces, tu utilises I'm going to. Sinon, si tu décides que tu vas faire quelque chose au moment où tu le dis, tu utilises I will. Do you understand now the difference between I will and I'm going to when you want to say je vais followed by a verb in the infinitive? Is that clear? Let's see. I'm going to ask you a question. We can now study a third possibility. Like you, we use the present to talk about a future action. Yes, that's right, the present to talk about the future. Strange, isn't it? But don't you say je pars demain ou le musée ouvre à 3 heures. Both the verbs are in the present, aren't they? So you use the present to talk about the future. So do we. Eh oui, comme en français, on peut avoir recours au présent pour parler d'une action future. We translate the first sentence by I'm leaving tomorrow and the second by the museum opens at 3. Maybe you wonder why we use the present continuous in the first sentence and the present simple in the second one. It's a good question, isn't it? Comment savoir quand utiliser le présent progressif ou le présent simple? You use the present continuous when the subject of the verb is a person, and the present simple when it is not a person. Tu vois, ça dépend du sujet. Tu as recours au progressif quand il s'agit d'une personne, sinon tu utilises le présent simple. But what is important here is that the person in the first sentence doesn't leave every day. It's not regular. Whereas in the second sentence, the museum opens every day at 3. Moreover, you must know that the present simple is used for usual actions. The museum opens every day at 3 is a usual action. It happens every day. C'est aussi une question d'habitude ou non du sujet. So, let's see if you're following and ask another little question. Well, one more point in the future won't be a problem for you anymore. This last point is more about vocabulary than grammar. Don't hesitate to use phrases like I intend to, I plan to, or I'm thinking of to express future, especially when you want to talk about your intentions. Ces phrases toutes faites te seront très utiles pour exprimer des intentions. As you can see, English and French are very close in their use of the future. But there is one difference between English and French. In some sentences, the future is translated by a present tense. In time phrases in English, we use the present or the present perfect. I'll telephone you when I arrive. When I arrive is in the present tense. You'll feel better after you have taken this medicine. After you have taken this medicine is in the present perfect tense. We don't use will in the when part of a time phrase. The same thing happens with other time words like while, after, as soon as, before, until, and so on. But you can use will in a question. When will he phone her is not a time phrase. So now it's time for my last question. So, talking about the future is quite simple, isn't it? I hope I haven't forgotten anything and that everything is clear for you now. See you next time for a new program. Bye!